Today we will once again speak about Daizen Maeda, as Brendan Rodgers has made an interesting revelation on his future. Not only that, we will of course go over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Brendan Rodgers has admitted Celtic must rethink the way they approach transfer windows after a summer of frustration left his squad short for crucial European qualifiers. Rodgers revealed that Celtic's transfer shenanigans are what forced him out the door in February 2019 when he left Celtic to head to the Premier League. The manager was asked whether the club needed to alter their strategy, with criticism mounting over the failure to replace key players and the late scramble for signings. While Rodgers defended Celtic's wider business model, he stressed the need for investment to be both timely and aligned with footballing priorities. He said, "I think the business model of the club is highly successful. What we have to marry that in with is the football, not just investment, timing of investment. It was clear what we needed, and we needed it early. We had these qualification games. Summer 2025 was a critical window for us to get players in to be ready for these games, and we weren't ready. That made me leave last time. This time I won't do that. 100%, I said 150% a few weeks ago, so I'll go back to that. It didn't make me think of walking away. I just felt empty, if I'm honest." Rodgers' remarks underline the tension between Celtic's financial strategy and the demands of competing at the highest level. Supporters have long argued that the club's cautious approach in the market has repeatedly cost them in Europe, and their record in European qualifiers only shows that. The manager's comments suggest he shares that frustration and wants to see change if he is to remain beyond the end of his current contract. Brendan Rodgers has said he'd like a new Celtic contract, if conditions are met, that can see him manage the club to the best of his ability. He has also called on the person who briefed the media to be sacked, slamming their conversation with the Scottish tabloid cowardly. Now for the main story, as Brendan Rodgers has admitted he has known since February that Daizen Maeda was keen to leave Celtic, confirming that the winger's recent revelation in the Japanese press came as no surprise to him. Maeda stunned fans last week when he revealed he had agreed terms with another club over the summer only for Celtic to block the move. It has since emerged that a German side made a significant bid late in the window, which the Parkhead board turned down. Rodgers revealed the forward had already been upfront about his intentions months earlier. He said, "I wasn't surprised by that because I've known since the end of February where Daizen was at. We spoke a lot. He has continued to give everything in his game, in his training, and he had a few options to go, and it would have been great for him and his family, but it didn't materialise. So it's now my job to convince him to go again." The revelation brings to light another major failing in Celtic's summer business. With months of notice, the club had ample time to prepare a replacement, yet still allowed the window to close without addressing the situation. Instead, Maeda has been left in Glasgow against his wishes, with his future now public and his contract entering its final 18 months. That leaves Celtic vulnerable to losing him mid-season, with interested clubs fully aware the player has already declared a desire to move on. For Rodgers, the immediate challenge is keeping him motivated until January. It will be interesting to see if he's given the nod from the start on Sunday against Kilmarnock. In other news, Brendan Rodgers has hit back at reports suggesting senior Celtic figures believe he is engineering an exit from the club, describing the leak as a cowardly action. The story emerged at the weekend in The Sun, quoting a club source who claimed Rodgers' public comments had torn the club apart and created division within Parkhead. The Celtic board later issued an official statement that notably stopped short of backing their manager, only adding to the fallout. As you'd expect, Rodgers was asked about the comments that appeared in the tabloid newspaper last weekend, and he didn't hold back. "It was interesting when I was shown that," he said. "My honest take? I thought it was a cowardly action from whoever it is. Was I surprised by it? Not really. I was briefed upon the last time I was here when I left, and now that I've come back." Asked directly if he knew who was responsible for the leak, Rodgers replied, "No." The Celtic boss has been under intense scrutiny since the transfer window closed without key reinforcements, with pressure on both the manager and the board. Despite this, though, the manager is keen on a contract extension. He admitted that he'd love extending his stay at Parkhead, but certain conditions would have to be met to allow him to do his job to the best of his ability. Supporters are already turning their frustration overwhelmingly towards the directors. This weekend against Kilmarnock, fans will arrive in the stands 12 minutes late in the first anti-board demonstration of this season. At the fan meeting on Wednesday, those leading the action were clear that they wanted the resignations of Nicholson, Lorwell and McKay sooner rather than later. Rodgers now faces the challenge of steering Celtic through a turbulent period on and off the pitch, while the question of unity between dugout and boardroom remains more uncertain than ever. In other news, Brendan Rodgers has reiterated that he will not be walking away from Celtic this season, but admits his long-term future depends on whether the club are prepared to give him the tools to succeed. The manager's contract runs until the end of the campaign, and with speculation rife about boardroom tensions and possible Premier League interest, his future has been a major talking point. Speaking on Friday, Rodgers confirmed that while he has held discussions with majority shareholder Dermot Desmond and chief executive Michael Nicholson, no formal contract has been placed in front of him. He revealed that he would like to extend his Celtic stay beyond this season though. He said, "It hasn't really changed from the last time. I would love to stay here longer. I've had informal chats with Dermot and Michael, but no offer to consider." Asked whether he would be open to committing his future if the circumstances were right, he added, 100%. I guaranteed I would do 3 years, and if going forward, if I do get offered a deal, there does have to be conditions in that allow me to work the best I can. Rodgers' words will be closely scrutinised by supporters who have grown increasingly frustrated with the club's failure to back him in the transfer market. While he insists he wants to remain in Glasgow beyond this season, the caveat of conditions suggests any contract renewal will hinge on assurances that he will not face another window like the one just gone, and you can't blame him for that. Next summer feels a long time away, and a lot can change between now and then. January could be a big window for the club to show that they are willing to make some moves if they want to keep the manager. Lastly, Kieran Tierney has handed Celtic a boost by returning to full training today after fears he had picked up an injury on international duty. The left-back, who rejoined the club in the summer, pulled out of the Scotland squad last week along with teammate Anthony Ralston. That sparked concern among supporters, with many fearing Tierney could face a spell on the sidelines. However, the 27-year-old was pictured at Lennox Town on Monday taking part in the full session. He appeared to have strapping on his hand but moved freely throughout the drills, suggesting his withdrawal from Steve Clarke's squad was precautionary rather than serious. Celtic posted the player on their Insta story. Ralston's situation looks less positive. As reported last night, the right-back has been spotted in a moon boot and faces some time on the sidelines. Alistair Johnston is out with a hamstring injury. Brendan Rodgers will be desperate to have Tierney fit as Celtic head into a crucial run of fixtures across domestic and European competition. The Hoops boss has already had to contend with a turbulent summer off the pitch, and injuries to key players are the last thing he needs as pressure mounts. But whether or not Tierney is risked on a plastic pitch is another issue. What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.